landed in Marrakesh, but we always knew that the end goal of our journey was to make it to Tangier and visit Paul Bolls. All we knew really was that Paul Bolls lived in Tangier, and that this man we had met in a nightclub in New York just before he had left had said that he lived near the American embassy. I should add here that the one thing that I did know about Paul Bolls' work at the time was that from everything Helen and Jason had told me, I knew that his writing often had a lot to do with terrible fates that befell Westerners who went to Morocco. When we tried to leave our hotel in Marrakesh, hordes of strangers flung themselves at us, wailing and beseeching us for help and trying to tear off pieces of our flesh as though we were made of gold. And we fled back to the lobby of the hotel where they told us that to go outside we would need to hire a native guide. And it turned out to be true. If you had a native guide, you could go anywhere and people would leave you miraculously alone. So we quickly fell in love with Morocco. When finally we arrived in Tangier by bus, this charming man named Mohammed, who happened to be waiting by the bus stop, immediately claimed us as his Westerners. Mohammed told us that he was a great friend of Paul Bolls, and that he and only he would be able to introduce us to Paul Bolls. For some reasons, was the one thing that Mohammed told us that we absolutely did not believe. But Mohammed turned out to be a most excellent guide. However, we resolved amongst ourselves that in order to meet Paul Bolls, we would absolutely have to escape Mohammed. So we were biding our time, waiting for our escape. Mohammed, well, we were staying in the Medina, the old part of town, where it was strictly prohibited to sell or to buy liquor. But Mohammed taught us how to buy liquor on the black market from these illicit wine dealers who lurked in dark alleyways. One night, Helen and Jason and I had stayed up all night drinking, and at dawn, Helen had retired to bed, and Jason and I were still up drinking together, and something, probably the desperation of my love, drove us to quarrel. I fled the hotel, clutching a huge stash bottle of red wine, and weeping. And I strode through the streets of the Medina, swigging my wine and sobbing wildly. And then I strode out of the gates of the Medina into the new part of town, and every